All right, guys, so that was a wrap on the finals for the Ozark Family Rodeo Series. I do have some disheartening news, and we will get to that in a minute. Just a recap, Chloe ended up reserve grand champion in mutton busting. This was her last year for mutton busting, so she was very happy to, of course, win a buckle. That was her first buckle for sheep. She actually never really enjoyed sheep that much. Like when she was doing walk trot, she used to always be like, can I just skip the sheep and ride the bulls? So very happy for her to have won that. Pee-wee bulls, she ended up reserve grand champion for that as well. She rode, I think, three or four bulls out of the season. I can't remember, but guys, these bulls are pretty rank. I mean, watch the videos. It takes a lot for these kids to ride them, especially for her first year to come out and win second. That was a very big achievement on her end. Of course, Pee-wee barrels, she won, grand champion there. Joshua was sitting third for barrels. He's in juniors. If you watch his run, you'll notice he had a great run going on the third barrel. She actually hit a wet spot in the arena. Her feet went out from under her, slipped, fell right on top of him, and his foot actually got caught in the stirrup as she was getting up, and he got drug a little bit of the way. If you notice, the camera gets thrown. Mama was jumping over the fence coming after him. I was at the other end of the arena climbing fences, running after him. I know our horseshoer was in the stands getting ready to jump the fence, so a lot of people were looking out for him, but thankfully his foot came loose, and he ran on foot back to the, I was out in the arena. I caught his horse, and he ran up to me. I said, are you all right? He said, yep. I said, all right. And he got back on his horse, and he rode his horse out. Doesn't get any more cowboy than that, but anyways, finished best he could there. Unfortunately, he didn't place because he was sitting third. If he'd have maybe won first or second, he might have been able to pull off second, but didn't place there. We thought that he'd won reserve grand champion in poles. As you saw, they even announced it and brought him out in the arena and everything like that. Unfortunately, that's the bad news. They called us last night. They had done some miscalculations in their final numbers, and he actually had been bumped to third by 2 points. So we're all very disappointed in that. I wish they would have caught that before, unfortunately, but mistakes happen, so understanding there. He's extremely disappointed. He was working his butt off on poles this year. I did tell him the good news is, he lives rent-free in all these teenage girls' minds. I was like, man, you're 10 years old riding a trader mare that you taught how to run poles, and you're living rent-free in all these people's heads. So I was like, it's all good, man. Like, we'll come back at it next year, give it our best shot. This was his first year in actual junior in poles. He's ran junior poles before, but he was technically a pee-wee. They just don't have pee-wee poles, so he was running against juniors. This was his first year actually competing as a junior, so very stiff competition. But yeah, that's the recap there. They're gonna do a awards banquet coming up at some point, and that's when they'll get their actual buckles, or at least Chloe anyways, because unfortunately Josh got bumped out of his. So that's a wrap on finals. Stiff competition this year. It was a great time, and we look forward to next year.